So yesterday was the Women's March, and it was supposed to be a day without women to show us men how terrible life would be without women, or how much we need them, or something like that, something to that effect. And honestly, to be completely honest, I went to school, I went to work, I went and did like 3 other things, and I had absolutely no idea it was yesterday until I saw some posters at the end of the day when I went to study for an exam I had. I went in and I saw this poster saying something about a day without women, and I looked at the date and it was yesterday, and I had gone a whole day without even realizing what was going on. And it just kind of reminded me of back like when you're in grade school and one of your friends gets mad at you or something, and then they try to give you the silent treatment. And normally, when someone gives you the silent treatment and you're not really inconvenienced by it, you don't even know what's going on. You don't even know that they're mad. You don't even know that they're giving you the silent treatment. So you go about your day, you go about your business, and then later on you find out that they were mad at you, and it's kind of over, and it's like, well, that didn't really inconvenience me at all. That didn't really accomplish anything. And I burst out laughing because that's exactly what this was. It's like a 2-year-old giving you the silent treatment. You just kind of go about your day, not even realizing that they're giving you the silent treatment, and nothing changes. I will say, however, there was one person I found out today when I went to work. There was one of my coworkers that participated in this march, and she wasn't actually in the march. She just didn't show up to work to participate, I guess. She just sat at home and watched Netflix and got fatter, because that's what she is. She's pretty overweight. She's not very attractive. Probably doesn't have a boyfriend. I don't blame any man for not wanting to date her, but that's what she does. She sits at home getting fat, watching Netflix, and says that she's doing some sort of feminist activist, or I don't even know what she calls it, but that's what she claims to be doing. But anyway, she didn't show up to work, and all it got her was fired. It didn't get her any attention. It didn't get her activism, I guess you would say, in the feminist world, in the real world either. I don't know. It didn't really get her anything except losing her job. And when it come to find out, a lot of people lost their job because they didn't go to work, and they didn't call in sick, they didn't have an excuse, they just didn't show up to work. And when that happens to any individual, be it a male or a female, when they don't show up to work unannounced, usually they get fired. And I think it's hilarious because they want all this equality, and that's what they're getting, which rightfully so. If they're going to get the good things, they have to come with the bad. And so all they're getting is fired. They're not getting attention. They're not getting whatever it is that they think that they're getting or want accomplished. I don't even know. It was pretty dumb. I know that some of it had to do with like the gender pay gap, which has been debunked a million times. I'll do a video very shortly because, like I said before, I'm in college and I've done a ton of papers over this. It's just such an easy topic to debate. In fact, Obama's administration, like Obama believed in the wage gap, and he ordered his administration to look it up, and the Department of Labor researched it and found out it was total crap. And I will definitely do a video over that because it is the most widely misused statistic in the history of the world, and it just won't die. And even after Obama's Department of Labor researched this and found out it was crap, he continued to misquote it. So for those of you who say, oh, maybe Obama just didn't know, no, you're wrong. He knew. He ordered it to be researched. His department concluded that it was false, and he continued to use it to advance his own political agenda, which is actually written in the Department of Labor that people do that intentionally. So I think that's funny that his own administration kind of betrayed him there because he's just lying. But anyway, so yesterday was the Day Without Women's March, and as I said before, I didn't even notice them gone. And that's for one of 2 reasons. One, because, well, actually it could be 3 reasons. One, it could be that women don't really do anything, which partially is true, partially is not. I mean, I made my own sandwich, but that's not a problem. I usually do that anyway. The other reason is that the women participating in these marches don't actually do anything. I think that's slightly more believable. They don't really do anything important, so you don't really miss them when they're gone. Or 3, most of the women in this country actually either, 1, they don't believe in feminism, they believe that they are treated equally, which I personally believe, or 2, they have more respect for their job, they want to keep their job, they want to be a benefit to society, and they don't like to whine and complain about things. Now, I personally really like those kind of women. I really like those kind of people. I respect them. And that's about 99% of the people in my life. I told you I had one coworker that doesn't fall into that category, and she got fired, and she's no longer in my life, and I'm not inconvenienced in the slightest. So anyway, this women's march was a total bust. I don't really think they got anything accomplished. You can correct me in the comments if you're wrong, but I do not think they got anything accomplished, because people realize, especially after their first march, where they literally dressed up like, if you have kids, cover their ears and eyes, but they literally dressed up like vaginas for no reason. I don't know. They're so dumb. The things that they come up with are just ridiculous. I mean, no one takes them seriously anymore, and this is the best they've got. But anyway, this is the same thing as when they had the Day Without Immigrants march, because they don't understand the difference between illegal and legal immigrants. Because, oh my gosh, I have tons of legal immigrant friends, and they're great people. I don't have any problem with them, and I don't know that anybody does. And if they do, maybe they are a racist, and maybe they should be called out for that. But they don't understand the difference between illegal and legal immigrants, which is why they have problems with Donald Trump. And don't get me wrong, I have my issues with him. Like, I don't believe in tariffs because it's just another tax. I'm pretty anti-government in that regard. I think they should be limited. I think that they are necessary with, like, the police and the military and other affairs that we can't handle individually, but I think they should stay out of things like welfare and taxes. I think that just causes a lot of problems, but that's another tangent for another day. But yeah, they don't understand the difference between legal and illegal immigrants. So this was the whole reason for the Day Without Immigrants march. This is like the same concept as the Women's March. It didn't do anything. They did it off of false pretenses, like they don't know what an illegal immigrant is. The feminists don't understand the wage gap statistic, or maybe they do, maybe they're just lying. Probably a mixture of both. But yeah, it's just completely based on falsehoods, and it doesn't accomplish anything. And if anything, it gets you fired from work, because as the same with the Women's Day March, the Day Without Immigrant March, also a ton of people got fired, and I just think that's hilarious. So anyway, yeah. And the other problem I have with this is that feminists and these Day Without Immigrant people, I'll just group them into this category. Liberals in general are the most racist people alive. Not only do they call you racist without any evidence, and trust me, there will be tons of videos coming that alliterates this point, but they're the most sexist and racist themselves, because they can't have, you will never see a men's day or a white person day. Oh my gosh, or a month, let alone a month, because the women now get a month. There's like Black History Month. I'm sure there's something for every race under the sun except white people. And if not, it's still racist because they're only giving it to black people and they're only giving it to women. Now, if I were to say, you know what, let's have a white month. Let's have a white history month, or just a white month for just white people. Or let's have a men's day. Let's have a men's month, because women have their own month now. It's this month, unfortunately. This is the month I was born, and it's kind of unfortunate that it's soiled by this whole, like, women's month. I mean, it's ridiculous, but they're the most racist people alive, because if I were to say I want a white month, or I want a men's month, they'd call that racist, but they can have their black month, and they can have their women's month. But yeah, so it's ridiculous, and all they're doing is being divisive. All they are doing is being divisive. They're trying to divide white people from black people, women from men. Why can't we just have an American year? Let's just have the whole year be devoted to Americans, because another argument they like to make is, oh, well, every day is Men's Day because men did all this stuff in history. Well, congratulations. You just said they did all the important stuff in history. Thank you for ruining your own point. But the reason we're picking them out is not because they're men. It's not because they're white. It's because they contributed the most to society and made the biggest differences. So what they want to do, though, is be like, well, there's an unequal proportion of men and women and whites and blacks in these history books, so we're going to make them equal and put these unimportant people in just because they're women and blacks. Okay, well, why don't we just focus on who does the most important things? Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of important black people, there were a lot of important women, but you need to decide based on people's merits what you're going to teach and what you're going to talk about. You don't need to dedicate 2 months of the year to what you consider minorities, even though there are less men than there are women. That's, again, another topic. But again, here we have them being divisive, going off of false narratives, and being racist and sexist themselves, and trying to divide America. We're all American. We have American history. If you don't like it, go somewhere else, because that's the way it is. They like to use the whole melting pot thing. Yes, we're a melting pot, so stop trying to be divisive. Anyway, the last thing I want to touch upon this is that instead of trying to be productive and to prove how important women are by being productive members of society, by going to work, showing how much of a valuable employee you are, instead of doing that, they've decided to show how unreliable and immature they are. That's all they've done. They've hurt their own cause. And of course they've gotten fired for it, and they've made the other women that decided to stay look bad because, yeah, stereotypes emerge, and that was your fault. I don't know why you had to group all women into your category. I don't know why you feminists have to claim that you're for all women when the polls show that most women do not agree with you. Most women do not identify as feminists. There are less women who identify as feminists now than there used to be, because women have realized what you have turned into. Yes, feminists were probably good at one point when they were trying to actually get equality. Congratulations, you are equal. Third wave feminists, which are the new feminists, are not about equality. They are for female superiority, about lying about things so that they can call themselves victims and make women look weak. Because that's what they do. Instead of saying what we can accomplish, what they like to do is say, oh, look how oppressed we are. Well, congratulations, you're not oppressed anymore. And all you're doing is making women look weak and look like victims. So, and here's the other thing. They like to pretend that there's this imaginary patriarchy. That has been oppressing women because all men are oppressing women. Well, guess what? If you're able to be oppressed based upon your sex, you're a weaker sex. Congratulations, you've hurt your own cause once again. And I would like to point out that not all women are stupid, but all feminists are stupid. Because they're so contradictory. They hurt their own causes. They don't understand that what they do makes everything worse for themselves. Anyway, if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I would like to point out that this next clip that I'm going to play perfectly illustrates third wave feminism and the total bust that this Women's Day Without Women's March was.
Alors bonjour à toutes et à tous. Donc tout d'abord je tiens à remercier Fabien Varlet pour m'avoir choisi pour ce défi. Donc si je vais sauter aujourd'hui, c'est pour prouver à tous les hommes qui n'ont pas choisi de filles ou de femmes pour ce défi que les femmes aussi ont assez de courage pour sauter dans l'eau et ont assez de cran. Voilà. Bon, quand je parle de sauter dans l'eau, c'est pas un petit orteil, hein, mesdames, hein, c'est sauter entière dans l'eau comme des hommes. Voilà, j'en profite aussi pour faire passer un message. Si je saute aujourd'hui, c'est aussi pour lutter contre les inégalités hommes-femmes qui persistent dans notre société actuelle. Donc à mon tour, je dois choisir 3 personnes qui vont devoir sauter dans l'eau. Sinon, elles vont devoir me payer le restaurant. Donc forcément, ces 3 personnes seront des femmes, comme je suis là pour défendre les femmes. Donc ces 3 personnes seront Élise Bove, Elodie Darras et Julia Minet. Voilà, donc je n'ai qu'une chose à vous dire.